host Marcus Crawford. Tonight on ZinoNation, we're doing kind of a special episode, Snaptain Nation. We're going to be talking about the little Snaptain 660 drone that a lot of toy drone reviewers received last week, and we're going to be joined later by JDrone, who did a big test flight of the Snaptain and posted a video yesterday. So we don't usually do a lot of toy drone stuff here, but Snaptain has been so much in the news here on all the social media platforms. We're going to kind of devote a little time to it. But we'll be talking about our usual suspects, though. You know, our beloved Zino and the Zino Pro that's about to come out. Marcus will run down his Zino pro spreadsheet here in a little while. And we'd also like to talk about another popular video just today. Our friend Quadcopter 101 released a 50-minute epic on the new JJRC Aurora drone that a lot of people are interested in. So we're going to get thoughts and opinions on that. And also, Marcus and I have different viewpoints on the new Mavic Mini drone that's supposedly coming out on October 30th. And we'll talk about Ken Dono's video, who he just posted on the Mavic Mini. So on that note, I'm going to throw it over to my co-host, Marcus. He's going to catch up what's been going on in his RC and drone world today and lately. Marcus, take it away.
Yeah. Thank you, Ron. A lot. I got out and was able to fly today. I took the FEMI X8 SE and I went out to the Snake River Canyon and got a little bit of a flight in. It's been kind of a busy week. Last week I was busy with the Corvette drag racing at the Halloween Classic out at Firebird Raceway. So drones definitely took a backseat for that part of the week, and it was race time. But it's really a fun time in the drone world right now, and it always is when there's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, let's think about this. We got the Zino Pro coming out, and everybody knows the Zino is near and dear to my heart. Then we've got the Mavic Mini that's got us all a flutter. It's all a bunch of guesswork, of course, but if it comes from DJI, we know it's going to be good. And then, of course, the Skydio R2 2. I keep wanting to say R2. It's just 2. That's a big deal. And, of course, there's a lot of talk about that. And fortunately, both Ron and I were able to pre-order that in the first round. So we should have that in our hands in November. And I'm hoping my friend Jay Drone might have ordered one of those too. Did you, Jay, a Skydio?
I did not order the Skydio. I like the specs and everything and all the promotion that they're putting on it. But as far as right now, I did not order one.
Yeah, and you had to get in early to get that to get in that first round, and I hate to admit it, but I've got an itchy finger, and I'm always hitting that button when something new comes out. So I just told Ken, Original Dobo, he just put out that video about the Mavic Mini. I told him, I said, Ken, if DJI put out a flying bag of potato chips, I'd buy it.
That's DJI stuff is it's there. We in many groups we have, I don't want to say hatred, but a strong dislike for the DJI fanboys per se.
We do.
But there's a good reason for the DJI fanboys. There's not, most of DJI stuff works the way it's supposed to, and it doesn't let you down.
Yeah,
you're right.
To your point, Jay, so that's what makes the kind of the drones like the Hubsan Zino kind of lovable, because we got to tinker around with them and we got to load firmware and do all kinds of weird stuff with them. And once we do, they work pretty good, as opposed to, you'd almost say like the DJI is like a Japanese car, right? It's just, man, everything just works every time. And like the Zino is kind of like an old European car where, boy, they were fun, but you had to do a lot of tinkering to get them to work.
Tinkering, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good analogy, Marcus. I like that one. But
Yeah.
welcome to the show tonight, Jay. I think this is Jay's first official appearance on ZinoNation. He was on like one of our European shows one time. This is his first time on the big show on Monday nights, the Monday Night Football edition tonight too. And I know Jay's got a lot to talk about tonight. We brought him on to talk about the Snaptain SP660, which he just released a big flight test video of yesterday, which I'm going to play during the show here in a few minutes. But also, he's been on a road trip down, I think, as far as North or South Carolina and back, and he had made some exciting videos along the way. He saw a great car show in Ocean City, Maryland, and he visited some what would you call it, abandoned houses. It was quite the trip. And I want you to plug your wife's new channel and vlog tonight too. I know you're trying to get her count up, so maybe we can. I'll make sure we'll drop the link somewhere in here for it. So
Sure.
Jay, go ahead, catch us up with what's been going on with you and your channel and your travels.
Well, my channel follows me, so I mean, typically it's a drone channel, but we like to travel. We bought a Kia Soul a year ago to travel for fuel efficiency reasons. But trying to sleep in that with two people is the seats fold down, it doesn't work out. So we bought a Astro van, and we've been just go when we've been off work or we've had time when to go. So yeah, like you were saying, we were in North Carolina in the Outer Banks, and we went down as far as we could in the Outer Banks until you'd have to get on a ferry to get to the next part, which we didn't do. But I try to still keep it drone related, even though I have other hobbies and other likes and whatnot. But like you said, with some of the abandoned stuff, it was, I think, 25 mile per hour coastal winds, 35 to 40 mile per hour gusts. I put the spark up. Needless to say, I didn't put it up over about 30 feet above my head. But I was at an abandoned water park. It was blocked off. If my wife wasn't with me, I would have jumped the gate. I would have did what I like to do on the ground and surveyed it and took lots of pictures. But my wife was with me, so I try not to push that risk factor when I have somebody else with me. So I had my drone, so I could send my drone. And yeah, I was thoroughly impressed. I've never been more nerve-wracking flying that Spark, though, because it was like the whole time it's fighting the wind. And what was amazing about it, it sucks. I had my hat cam with me. I didn't have another SD card for the hat cam. I wish I did, because the drones like this, the image quality on that 2XS gimbal, you would never known. I mean, you were able to see my shirt and even my beard towards the end of it. My beard was sideways in the last clip, and my shirt's just ripping around in the tree. So I mean, that's just huge testament to. Again, we were just talking about DJI, like one of the smaller products that they have, and that's coastal wind. There was ocean to the left and to the right of me. I was on a strip of land in the Outer Banks. That was a huge testament to that. But other than that, yeah, like you said, my wife, I've encouraged my wife to start a channel, not so much drone related, although again, another testament to DJI, and I like to smash myself where I'm not a DJI fanboy, and I don't like DJI fanboys, but I take a Spark with me everywhere I go. But on her channel, she's only ever tried to fly one drone before, and it just kind of went off. So I think for her channel, and I might even incorporate it in my channel, give her the controller to Spark, give her the Spark, and show people how easy it is for an extreme novice to fly, because it does basically fly itself. Anybody can fly Spark.
Agreed. And before we get off of here, I love your one stop. I think it was North Carolina, where you flew the little what's the little DJI drone? The Tello.
The Tello.
You flew it in low light, like in and outside the room, and I was amazed at how good the camera was, even in low light or whatever. It really surprised me. And you flew that thing like, I know you're a great pilot, but I swore you had like GPS the way that you operated that thing.
Yeah, and outside in low light, and that's why I did the video, to showcase the Tello and low ambient light, because the Tello is extremely dependent on light. If it has lots of light, that thing's going to give you excellent video, and it's going to seem like it has GPS, because the optical flow sensors and whatever sensors are underneath it really grab, and it'll just sit there. but in low ambient light, it was tough. Like you said, I made it look good, but it was really tough and squirrely outside until I got inside because it wasn't holding at all. But and again, another testament to DJI, even though that's Rise, but there's
Right.
DJI tech inside of it.
Right.
It's they make some pretty impressive stuff. I mean, I still have a Phantom 3 standard that I won't get rid of. It's been sidelined due to my Spark, but I'll run it maybe 3 to 4 times a year just to maintain the battery. But I won't get rid of it because there's nothing wrong with it. It's still an excellent drone.
Hey, Jay, I got a question for you. So I was looking at that abandoned water park or whatever it was you were at. Man, they were serious. They didn't want anybody messing around in there. All of that wire that they had, barbed wire, like over the top of a lot. You got some great pictures. You could see it stretched over the top of a lot of those chutes and so forth. That was pretty wicked.
Yeah, that's borderline cuckoo, I think.
Because kids are going to get in there and get hurt.
Right,
that's what I was thinking.
And supposedly, like somebody had wrote, I don't know if it was in an abandoned group that I run or if it was in drone days. Somebody had wrote in another state that somebody was actually decapitated for the same exact reason. Like a child was decapitated because what do? You go break into an abandoned park, which anybody could have broken into that. A 90-year-old man who could barely walk could have got into that park. It wasn't that secured on the outside. And then you climb the ladder and it's still a slide.
It looks like a slide. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, that place, the state has tried to, or the county's tried to buy that off the owners and they flat out refuse to sell it. They do bare minimum to keep it up with code, but something like that with the barbed wire, I can't see, like you're now presenting another danger.
Exactly.
But yeah, I've hit on my YouTube channel. I don't have all of them in my playlist on my abandoned playlist, but what I have on my abandoned playlist is almost 100 places that have been abandoned, and I've never seen anything maliciously booby trapped like that.
Wow, that's incredible. Hey, before we get too far away from the Tello story, I just want to mention our friend Perth West. OZRC's in here. That's Dave G. I know he's a good friend of yours too. Perth West. Anyhow, he sent me a link recently that Walmart. If you go to Walmart, not the physical Walmart store, but if you go to the website, you can find a Tello on there for $69.99. It's a refurb, so that's a pretty good deal.
Would you say $59.99?
$669.
69, yeah, that's a really good deal.
That's not in-store price. You have to go to the Walmart website and and purchase it from there. I think from a third-party seller. Actually, I mentioned Walmart because you're famous for your live walkthroughs at Walmart occasionally.
Yeah, I rather enjoy going through Walmart, and especially when people get frazzled that I'm recording and try to get me to shut it off. That's never happens. I don't shut it off, but yeah, it's Walmart's a whole different world.
Yeah, I've done a couple walkthroughs of the Best Buy drone aisle, but I just video. I don't actually say anything to draw any attention. But I think your stuff's really cool, and I like the recent one where you were in there and you showed how to use the app to see if it was cheaper online than in the store. I like that video a lot.
Yeah, that app. If you're not using that app, you're possibly losing money. But if you use that app and you scan that Tello and say it was cheaper online, they have to honor it because it's Walmart. So they'll match their own price online. And I did that. I did that a couple times with Walmart and even Toys R Us when they were still open. They would honor Walmart's prices, and they were selling the Sky Viper 2900 brushless GPS drone for I think $350, and Walmart had it on theirs for $140. And I went in, and I didn't tell them I was going to do a price match. I went in, going to check out, and I'm like, "You do price matches, correct?" She said, "Yes." I showed her my phone, and her jaw about hit the floor about the price difference. Mm-hmm. She called her manager, but they honored it.
Excellent.
So, I mean, it's the internet and apps right now is definitely a good thing if you're going to shop locally, retailly.
especially with the price matching. But I know Best Buy will price match, like Amazon and another big sites prices too. So, and they'll do just the register. Usually, you don't even have to talk to a manager. You just show the cashier that Amazon has something for $10 cheaper, and they'll just take care of it at the register for you.
Right.
So, okay, well, enough, as you would say, enough jabber-jawing. Let's get into the.
No, Jay, you need to know that Ron uses that expression all the time.
Yeah, but I credit you with. I credit you with it. I didn't steal it. I always say, I always credit you for saying jabber-jawing.
See, I think I picked that up somewhere down southwest from somebody. I don't know. Somehow it got in my vocabulary, and I find it rolls off your mouth really nicely, and it's a better way to say you're just running at the mouth, I guess.
I like it. It sticks. But anyhow, so we have the Snaptain SP660 here, and as you point out in the video, with the ginormous battery that comes with it, and it's a very interesting drone. Like, I think you were probably sent to it by the same person I was. I forget her name, but full disclosure, I didn't pay for this. It just showed up on my doorstep. And I've done a flight. I did an unboxing last week. I did a flight test. It's going to go live right after the show. But Jay has actually done one, and I'm going to get it rolling here as soon as we get him talking. Now, I mean, I loved your video. And I'm going to say a lot of the same things in the video I made, and not by watching yours. I'd already had done all this stuff. But you had a drop out of the sky, which I did not have. I had it, the barometer, I had it going up and down a little bit at times, but I didn't have it drop from the sky. So do you just kind of walk us through your flight and your impressions? That was your one and only flight, correct?
That was my one and only flight. I heard people are having issues as far as pressing the record button on the controller, getting it to record to the SD card. So I didn't even want to mess with that in my first video. I figure I'll just do a flight video. We'll do a flyability video because it does come with the 2000 milliamp an hour battery. And that's insane. Like when I seen the battery, I thought it was a 7.4 volt battery, the old school double stack 3.7s wired to give us 7.4. And it's a 3.7 2000 milliamp an hour battery. It flew good. But just put it there. It flew, said that you noticed out of my video, it did have a dropout, and I couldn't replicate that dropout. I couldn't get it to do it again. So I have no clue why it dropped out. Like I thought it was maybe the old SEMA X8, what is it, H something that had you hold down on the left stick too long and it comes crashing to the ground.
Right. Their first altitude hold model. Yep.
Right. Yeah. I thought maybe that was it, but then I tried to replicate it. I couldn't do it again. And then the only other thing that I noticed.
And what's established, it happened at close range. It wasn't an out of range issue. Is that correct? The fall from the sky happened at close range, so it wasn't an out of range issue. Correct?
It was pretty close. It was probably a little bit further than it is in the video that you're showing now. And then other than that, like you said, the barometer on it, as far as the altitude hold, I was having issues bringing it down from altitude. Like, and I showed it several times where I actually raised the controller up just to show you I'm holding down and it's not doing anything. And then I let go and it actually increase altitude. For flying in a backyard or flying in a large backyard type field that this video is being taken in, it's not an issue. But where it's going to be an issue is for maybe first flyers or maybe intermediate flyers that are going to want to jack it up to the sky, like a lot of people do. They want to see how high these drones can go. And if you press that down and it's not going down, you're going to encounter an issue then. Other than that, the thing, 20-minute flight time, they should, I think we need to take a couple steps back. RD Drones, what's up? I think we need to take a couple steps back in toy grade drones and get the altitude hold off of them. It was great when they broke it in line. It was awesome like a year or two back when they put it in there. But now it's just swamped everything. You don't see anything besides hobby stuff that has that left throttle completely down. I think this drone would be an amazing drone, and then you wouldn't have that altitude problem issue, and I probably wouldn't have even had the dropout issue, because I'm assuming it was something with the barometer. Maybe it was fighting. Maybe it was fighting to maintain or go up, and I was holding it down, and it just fuzzled out. I don't know. But I really think companies either need to be offering two different controllers, altitude hold for the people that want altitude hold, or non-altitude hold, which I think we should get back to, because a lot of people are learning on altitude hold controllers, and I think they should be learning on what a SEMA X5's controller used to be, where it wasn't center stick on the left throttle.
I totally agree. And you don't see it much, but some drones actually have where you could turn the altitude hold off. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but that would probably be what all these drones should come with, a switch to switch it on or off, and it should come off by default.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, when it first came out, which SEMA, I forget which SEMA X5, it was a green one, that came out, and then more came out, and then everybody just followed suit, and nobody's taken a step backwards and really saying, look, this is the way it should be, because it should be that way. The altitude hold should be novelty. It shouldn't be a baseline, and right now it's been a baseline.
Yeah, it is. And but with that being said, I do have to admit, and you'll in my video, I'll show at some point, I'm holding the controller, with the hands off the sticks, and that thing is just not moving vertically or whatever. The altitude holdness, when it works, it really works well. In my video, you'll see it dip to the ground a few times, I guess, once the wind came along. But at some points when the wind wasn't coming, it was really holding its altitude well, which I don't know if that doesn't make you a better flyer or whatever. And get back to who's this drone for? It's probably for a beginner. I mean, a very beginner who should be learning to fly totally manually, right?
Right. I agree 300%. Beginners really should. I mean, I'll say it again. It's nice to have altitude hold. It is a nice feature. I mean, even before altitude hold, what was the feature? The feature was headless mode. It was a fake headless mode on a base heading. They slapped that all over the boxes. Headless mode. And that was the feature. And now it's altitude hold. And I would juncture in another year or two, it's going to be optical flow, a cheaper optical flow, which may work and may not. What drone is it? There's a larger brushed XK drone that has optical flow. It came out like a year or two ago, and if you let off the sticks on that, it holds, and it holds great. And I know it's cheap technology they put into that, so I could see that being implemented too. Technology's good, but we still need base models. We still need basic. Going to rely on it entirely too much, and then what happens like us? The altitude hold's not working properly. What do? They don't know what to do. They can't fly it manually. So I really think definitely. What did you think of the controller? I love it. RD asked, what did I think of the controller? I absolutely love the way the controller felt. The controller felt more, and I think I noted it in my video, that the controller felt more hot. Most toy does, and the fact that's huge in my book. I hate looking for batteries. I hate looking for AAAs. I hate looking for AAs. Either put a lipo in it that I can change out, or have it rechargeable. So RD, dude, 2 thumbs up on the controller. I absolutely love the controller.
Yeah, I agree. I much prefer a rechargeable controller rather than have to scramble around for your AAs. And what else did I like about this? You surmise that maybe the antennas are real. Is that correct?
Say that again.
Did you think that the antennas may have been real? Did you mention that in your video?
Yes, I haven't pulled apart the controller, but the feel and the build of the controller and those 2 little nubbies sticking up, I would have to think at least one of those has a real antenna in it. Otherwise, why even waste the money on adding those 2 little bumps? I mean, I know they do it with the other control.
Here's something I don't think either of us showed. Here's the phone thing. I didn't show it in my video, but there's where you put the phone in.
Yeah, I don't think I showed it in mine either. But yeah, I mean, eventually maybe I'll twist it apart. Snaptain quads don't have good range. They're all close range backyard. I want to test this one. Perth West says they don't have good range. They're just backyard ones. I'd like to stick an all-in-one camera on this and just send it out, and wherever it falls, and I go get it. Because I think this controller, especially if those antennas on those little nubs are real, I think this could see 200, 300, 400 meters tops. But I'm not holding my breath on that. It is a super toy. It's extremely plastic. And Snaptain hasn't been known, like Perth West said, for long-range flyers. But the controller feels different to me. It feels like there's actually a little bit of tech in there. Maybe it's a little bit more well-constructed. It's just completely different style controller from Snaptain.
Hey guys, so you touched on something that kind of caught my interest. So I'm an old guy, and I pretty much started on GPS drones. My first real drone, I mean, I had a couple of toys, but nothing to speak of really. My first real drone was a Phantom 3, so I've been flying GPS drones forever, and I hear continually people saying, hey, you really need to learn how to fly in ADI mode. Well, the problem is most drones now, you can't put them in ADI mode even if you want to.
True.
Right.
I mean, the Phantom 4, you could put that now to hold, right, and it flies great in ADI mode.
Yeah.
With the altitude hold.
Yeah, I used to do that with my Phantom. I got rid of my Phantom 4, sold it, but I did try that a few times and did okay with it. I'm just kind of making the point that, there's probably a lot of us, and I'm one of them, that really started with GPS drones and don't have the kind of experience that you guys have.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, myself, I'm actually, and I mean, this again, just touch on the Spark. I love the Spark. I've never had any issues with the Spark. I don't like return home on GPS drones. Even though I've used it on the Spark and it works well, I would rather pilot the drone all the way out, and when it says low battery warning, let me turn it around and fly it home. I trust myself more than I trust the technology that's in it, because like you said, you've grown up on GPS drones. You probably are 300% confident on the GPS. No worries. Let me flick the switch, grab a beer, have a cigarette, eat whatever you like, wait for it to come back. Myself, I started on basically SEMA X5. It was a rebranded. It was World Tech Toys Striker, and I was taking that out probably 300 meters away from myself in snowstorms, and being capable of flying it back to myself. And if I didn't fly it back to myself, well, you know what happened, because it didn't have GPS. Bye-bye.
It was just gone. Yeah.
It just went, and so I learned very quickly in the beginning stages of flying how to orientate visually from a high distance, and then slowly got into what you've always been a part, the whole FPV of a GPS drone, where you can look down and gain your orientation, or you have a little icon that shows you drones here, you're here, and you can fly a line back to yourself.
Right. So I think Ryan is making a good point in the chat. So, Ryan, you're absolutely right. That's what I need to do. I need to buy not a decent. Well, you know what? I've got a little Tello. I suppose that's. I mean, it's not GPS, although it sure feels like it when I fly it. But maybe I need to just buy a decent non-GPS drone and just mess around with it.
Before we get off the Snaptain here, I actually gave it a pretty good review because I like the controller. I thought it flew okay. Altitude hold, altitude hold's a little funky on almost every drone I've ever flown, so I can't knock it too much there. But what I did is I followed the instructions. I went to make a video, and I hit the button. I held the button down long enough that I got the double beep like I was recording video. I get home and there's nothing on the memory card, and now I've discovered that it wasn't anything I did wrong. It's a known issue. Can you talk about that a little bit, Jay?
Yeah, that definitely seems like a common with some of these toy grade stuff. A while ago, Holy Stone's drones were noted for that, where they dubbed, you got the little record button, and it would even show a blinking on underneath it, which is a visual confirmation that it's actually recording. And here it's not recording. As far as technical, like what's going on there, I couldn't tell you. It makes zero sense to me that you have an LED indicator that's flashing, which is giving you visual confirmation, allowing you to be confident that you're recording an SD card, and it's not doing it. But some guys have told me that you can do it in the app and it'll actually record that SD card. So technically, I couldn't tell you why it's doing it or why it would be doing it. If it wasn't blinking, then sure, then stuff's not working properly. But with it blinking, the controller's sending a signal to the drone, and it's receiving that signal because you get the blinking, but it's not doing something. There's something not right there. I don't know.
Hey, Ron, are you looking at the chat? So Brian is saying that he had problems with the gimbal sticking on the controller. And then he's also saying that he only had about an 80-foot range with it.
Well, I did. I had the stick here on this side. Like I had it not come back up on me a couple times. I had to force it back to the middle again. It's working perfectly now, but I was in the field and I got it stuck in a down position a couple times that I had to push it back. I didn't do a range test. I was in a small baseball field and I took it, all the way across the field. I don't know how far a little league baseball diamond is, but it certainly was no range test what I did. So
as far as my flying field, I have 100 meters mapped out. There's a birch tree at the end of the main road that I'm standing in front of. So I took it out to at least 100 meters, and the controls didn't get sticky or anything. But past that, I wasn't willing to do it without a camera on top of it that I could see FPV. That way, if it did lose range or did get squirrely, I can just drop it and hopefully be able to figure out where it was and go get it.
Right. You weren't ready to take it over the abyss, huh?
No. No.
Yeah. And I don't know we don't know what would happen if it flew out of range. Like it has an emergency stop button on it where it gently lands itself, and hopefully when it got out of range, it would gently land itself. But we don't know what could have happened. It could have just kept on going and flown away to the next town or something.
Right.
You never know what's going to happen. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. There is a way to tell. Well, there used to be a way to tell that where you would turn on the drone, you would basically go 3/4 of the way throttle up, shut the controller off, and if the blades would stop spinning immediately, then it's just going to dead drop. Otherwise, if the motors kept spinning for 2 to 3 to 4 seconds, 2 to 3 to 4 seconds up in the air, that can cover a lot of area in a short period of time.
Well, Jay, Dave seems to be, picking on Snaptain's range, so you're going to have to go out and fly some epic range to prove him wrong.
Yeah, that's the only way I'm going to get a range test, and unfortunately, like Perth West is saying, it's probably going to end in. It's probably going to get out around 200 meters, maybe 300 meters. Hopefully, it'll get out that far, and then it's just going to get squirrely, and then I'm going to have to go walk and try to find it. Which this time of year, it's not as bad because all the brush is dying and it's getting cold. But in the summer, it's definitely no fun.
Well, let me ask you a question. For a drone in this price range, which do you have to know the price? I forget. Is it $69.99?
Say it again?
Do you happen to know the price of this drone? Is it $69.99?
Oh, the price on it, I don't know offhand. I think what you're saying is about correct. I do think there's a 10 or a 20% instant click code on it.
Okay.
I'm not
What's
positive.
the model number? I'll look it up real quick.
Well, but what I'm getting to, what do you think is an acceptable flight range for a drone in this price range and class?
I'm sorry, you're breaking up slightly, and I think it's because I'm on an older iPhone. But you could just shake your head yes or whatnot. Are you asking me what I think about as far as the drone goes to price comparability, where it's at as far as price point and worth?
Yeah, I was saying that what would be the acceptable flight range for a little drone like this?
Acceptable range on toy grade drones, I say, is 100 meters. If you have a brush toy grade drone, 100 meters, I think, is acceptable range.
Agreed.
That translates into, I think, 303 feet or something like that. And they're designed for children. They're designed for children. They're designed for new flyers. They're designed for beginners. And if you have a beginner going out to shoot 200 meters line of sight, the drone's gone. So I know a lot of these companies have been and will continue to keep the range at 100 meters because visually that's you can keep your eye on something at 100 meters. But with this, I found it almost difficult at 100 meters because it was all black to orientate. I mean, I was able to do it, but with an all black drone at 100 meters, it looks like a black blob.
Oh yeah, I perfectly agree with that, Jay. And I got to apologize to Perth West. He thinks I'm picking on him. I'm just having a good time. No picking on anybody here. We're just having a good time here. Before we move on to the next topic, any closing thoughts on the Snaptain drone by anybody in the comments or Jay?
Hey, I'll ask both of you guys if you had to buy it yourselves. Is it something you'd buy or a pass?
Good question.
Is it? Let's rewind time 2-3 years ago when I'm a new flyer. The 20-minute flight, the 22. I think I had a 24-minute flight. 24-minute flight, full throttle, full pitch forward the entire time, like really buzzing around with it. If it was in my Kmart, if it was in my Walmart, if it was in my Boscov's for $70 and it touted a 24-minute flight time, 3 years ago as a beginner, I'm buying it. Hands down, I'm buying it. Right now, though, as where I am as far as in this hobby goes, a 20-minute flight time for me isn't essential. I don't need to be standing in a field for 20 minutes to 25 minutes. I'm getting eaten alive by mosquitoes. Again, the camera, I didn't even test the camera. So for me, I'm gonna say at the price point, no. If we can get the price point down to $40 and it's touting a 24-minute flight time, $40, a 24-minute flight time with 2 batteries, then yeah, I think I'm at me right now. I think I'm gonna bite the bullet on $40, but nothing more.
And to answer your question, Marcus, again, not for me. Again, I long past the point of flying, outside brush toy drones. But for a child or somebody's first drone, if they ask me, would it be a decent first drone for somebody, I'd say sure. I mean, I'm not saying it's the best drone out there for $70, but it's not bad. You get two batteries with it, which is very good. Two long lasting batteries, as Jay pointed out. So I don't think it's a bad bargain for the price. Is it the perfect drone? No. Could you maybe do better for the price? Possibly, but yeah, I would recommend it to said young person, first time flyer. So okay, let's move on to the next subject. Another more advanced toy grade drone, the JJRC Aurora drone, and it's I believe Marcus told me it's a rebranding of a Seafly drone. And Quadcopter 101, we all know Quad 101. He did a big, massive 50-some minute review of it today. It's very full featured. It has GPS, optical flow, 3-axis gimbal. It's got all the bells and whistles. Have you seen this drone yet, Jay?
Are you talking about the JJRC Spark clone?
No, this one is called the Aurora. It is a clone of the Seafly Faith.
It more looks like
I
a
don't think I've
Mavic
seen
Air
that
than it
one.
does a Spark.
In any case, so a lot of people are all a little bit of buzz about it, and it's so typical of a lot of these kind of drones. That there's always just one thing that they'll do a pretty good job on a bunch of things, and there's always one thing that they don't get right. And in this case, you know what? It seems to fly pretty good. I saw Captain Drone's video of it and Quadcopter 101. It retails for like $239. I think I saw it on sale on GearBest. So to me, that's a little above the price point. I mean, that's right where you can buy a Zino. So I'm not sure why. I mean, I wouldn't buy it. I'd buy a Zino rather than that. But it's interesting. It seems to fly pretty good. Quadcopter 101 took it out to almost one click. Just about made it to one click. And then he brought it back. It's supposed to have a range of 1.2, 1,200 meters. And the stability on it looked really good. I mean, the video, it was very smooth. I mean, a lot of those cheaper drones, they'll have a 2-axis gimbal or whatever. The video is a little bit shaky or something like that. I'll even say the FIMI A3, if you look really hard at that video, it's a little bit of a shake to it. This was really smooth and it looked pretty good. The downside that I saw is the video quality was crap. I mean, it's a 1080p rated, and it just wasn't even great 1080p. If it was really good 1080p, like the Spark, it'd be great. But I'll be honest with you, I can't see spending that kind of money. The reason you buy those kind of drones is for the video and the picture quality. And if it's not there, what's the point?
Yeah, I've seen that a lot, like your clones of drones type things where they're touting 1080p and sure, you can right click it, look at the properties, it says 1080p, but it is just skipping frames and missing frames, and it's just terrible. It's like, no, this is horrible.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, we've seen a lot of garbage coming out of JJRC, and this one actually looked pretty good. And I have a feeling that they don't even make it. It's probably made by what's that other company? Seafly. It's the Seafly Faith is what it's
Right.
a clone of. So it's probably just rebranded. I'll bet you they just stamped the JJRC name on it.
But this drone's getting a lot of interest. A lot of people that have Zinos and the FIMI A3s. It's in that same price range, and a lot of people are very interested in it. We don't have anybody in our little group that's has one or has their hands on it yet, because people are asking for advice on it, and all we can do is recommend what we see in these videos, which, like Marcus says, it looks like it's got everything right but the camera.
You just wish that they would have just spent a couple more bucks on that sensor and on the video chip, to give it just a hint of a little better video, and then you could call it a winner, right? You could recommend it.
Like Brian says here in the chat, it's bad 1080p.
Yeah.
And I always, when somebody complains to me about the Spark, they say, well, the Spark's only 1080p. You know what I always say to them? Yeah, but it's great 1080p.
Yeah.
The best 1080p you'll ever find.
Yeah. No, the Spark, the 1080p
Spark,
is just freaking amazing. And in fact, sometimes you confuse it with 4, or 2.7 or something. Yeah, they really did it. That's DJI for you. Hey, so I see Dennis in the chat is saying that his Zino fell from the sky. I saw you talking about that, Dennis. So you had a bad battery. Is that it? So hopefully he'll answer us here. But that's a bummer. You hate to hear about stuff like that.
Destroyed itself.
Yeah.
We have another guy in our group. Better. What is it? Better with drones. Marcus, something better with drones, and he was one of the original orders of the Zino last December, and he went out and he flew with a battery that had discharged itself during the flight, and his drone unfortunately crashed and destroyed itself. What we recommend with the Zino batteries is don't let them sit too long. Like always charge them like the day you're flying them.
Yeah, so better with the drone. His God, unfortunately, it just he was flying over a railroad yard, and it just dropped, and I mean, of course, fell on railroad tracks and just destroyed itself. So that's a bummer.
It is. I think he wound up getting a spark. Did you see Brian says that the Enjoy Fly app for the Aurora is garbage? I think that's what he's.
Oh, is it? Yeah,
that's what he's saying here.
They didn't go into the app too much, but yeah, could very well be. But those kind of drones are interesting to people, I think, that are. So what I can totally relate to is I feel so fortunate that I can go out and buy a Mavic 2 or whatever. But what I understand is a lot of people can't do that. And to be able to buy something like the Zino for $250 and get some good high quality video, even though it has a few quirks and this and that, I think that's a necessary thing to keep our hobby going. And so I applaud when I see drones like that JJRC drone. You like seeing them coming because it allows people to get into the hobby and without spending a lot of money.
Did you see Dennis said that it was at 75% when the battery just died on him? And
yeah, no, not good, Dennis. Holy cow.
Yeah. I'm running Quadcopter 101's video in the background here for anybody that can't see it, and you can just see the kind of graininess of the footage compared to what you'd see out of the Zino. Now, Marcus, how does that compare to the FIMI A3 video?
Yeah, so the FIMI A3 video was definitely a step or two down from like the Spark. And I got to be honest with you, I never fly the Zino in 1080p, so I don't really know. I always put it in 4K, so I have to claim some ignorance there. But yeah, this is worse than. I mean, you could almost confuse this for 720. I mean, it's just not. It's grainy and it's just not good. But as you can see, it's pretty stable though, right? So clearly the gimbal is working well, and it's got a pretty good horizon on it, etc. So that part of it's good.
No, I misquoted. Brian was talking about the Snaptain apps, not that good.
Oh, okay.
I haven't. I downloaded the app. I looked at it, but I could not get it connected to my phone, and I didn't try real hard. So maybe I just need to look at it more. But so I can't speak for the app. We got FSU grad in here with his FSU grad 03 who's going to SpinUp with us next week. How you doing, DeMarco? Glad to see you in here. So. Jay, what do you think of this new Zino Pro that's coming out? Well, we don't know when it's coming out, but some people have tracking numbers for it. Marcus could give an update in a second here, but what do you think of the Zino Pro?
Again, when you are playing videos like you're playing Quadcopter 101 video, you're a little bit glitchy as far as when you're talking in the audio. But are you asking me about the new Zino Pro that's coming out?
Yes.
Okay. I think again myself, I'm not gonna grab it immediately just because even with some of DJI stuff, I like to see people have it in their hands. That way, a couple bugs could get worked out in the first place with it. But if everything that they're claiming about it is true, it might be. Hopefully, they got the flyability. Hopefully, they got the flyability ironed out, which I think was a controller issue. Hopefully, they get that ironed out, and then. If they got that ironed out and they're going to get the flight time and range that they're advertising, it's going to be a hit out of the park.
Well, so Ron, you didn't ask me for my opinion, but I'm going to give it.
Of course.
Listen, I look at the Zino Pro as just an incremental improvement above the standard Zino. But personally, I'm invested enough in the Zino, and I've had just so much fun with that drone. I'm going to buy one just because I like it, right? And yeah, if that controller's better, the range, I don't know. The regular Zino flew out a kilometer. That's as far as I need to go with that little drone. So the extra range will be good. Maybe you'll get a more solid connection, etc. But to your point, Jay, if that controller is a little bit better, because it's definitely a toy controller on the thing, that will be helpful to get good video. But let me say this, with drones like if that new Mavic Mini is really $399, like all the big websites are saying, we'll believe it when we see it. But if it is, what does that do to drones like the Zino? They're going to have to drop that price. Boy, it's going to have to go down around a couple $100 to get people to buy it, I would think.
Well, to that point, Mark, I'm gonna get real controversial here. Even though I co-host a show called ZinoNation, if the Zino Pro is $399 and the Mavic Mini comes out at $399, we've even heard less, and we've heard rumors that the $399 include a controller. How am I going to justify buying the Zino Pro over the Mavic Mini at about the same price when, again, I'm not going to DJI fanboy it, but when we know that the Mavic Mini is probably going to have better specs, better, range, and probably going to be better in almost every way than the Pro. Again, how am I going to justify choosing the Zino Pro over the Mavic Mini? Now, like you said, the Zino Pro will probably drop in price once it's been out a while, especially if the Mavic Mini shows up at $399. But on opening day, how can I not hit the buy button on the Mavic Mini and push the Zino Pro in the background and fire away the arrows at me, fire.
No, listen, Ron, I'm a huge fan of the Zino, as you know, but I totally agree with you. I'm not arguing one point.
Yeah, I agree 300%. And like you said, you're not a fanboy. I've stamped it all over my face. I'm not a fanboy, but it is what it is. I mean, it is what it is. If you can get better for your money, you're going to do that. And like Marcus said, though, he's invested in the Zino. So there will be people that will buy the Zino, even if it's a little bit more, if it costs more than the Mavic, just because they're invested in the Zino. Like if myself, I absolutely love Wingsland. I've owned every single Wingsland drone that they've ever came out with. I've only ever had a problem with one of them, the M5, where it just wouldn't turn on anymore. But I have the Mini Vet, I have the S6, I have the little one that they touted as a little race drone. And if Wingsland would come out with a Mavic competitor, a Spark competitor, even if it was $200 inflated over DJI stuff, as long as I was orange and said Wingsland, I would go buy it. That's just, yeah.
I hear you. I mean, some people in the chat are saying that the Mavic Mini will be it'll be like a DJI drone. You won't be able to fly in restricted areas where of course the Zino Pro won't have those restrictions. Of course, the Mavic Mini has gone for, again, we're just basing everything on rumors. We won't know anything until it comes out. But people think the Mavic Mini is going to be under the weight of what you have to register your drone for in the US, which is a big deal to some people. And I mean, I don't really understand totally, because you still have to follow all the flight, rules, regulations, no matter what the way the drone is, but you won't have to pay your $5 and, to register. But actually, if you're a multi-drone user, a hobbyist, a multi-drone user, you only have to register one time. You wouldn't have to register just for the, a particular drone. But it's a big deal to some people that it's going to be under the 250 grams, supposedly. I don't know if that means anything to you, Jay.
It means absolutely nothing to me, but I could see where it does mean something to other people. In Canada has extremely strict rules, to the point where if it's above that weight limit, they're having a hard time flying legally. The rules, they keep dropping the hammer on the rules in Canada for people in Canada, where I've seen a lot of people walk away from the hobby because they're making it so hard for them to fly legally. I think even night flights. I think if you get caught flying at night in Canada, you face some stringent charge or you face some stringent penalty, and they're just really tough up there. And I'm sure it's the same way in other countries as well, where that under that weight limit people are really hoping for, because certain countries are making it extremely difficult to fly anything above that weight limit.
Yeah, very good point for again, people in Canada and other countries. And I questioned at first. I was saying, well, why would I even want this Mavic Mini? The specs aren't going to be anything new. It's just going to be same specs as a lot of other drones I already have. But this occurred to me at one point. The weight thing. I'm not so concerned about the weight, but what if this drone, is really small? I don't mean like just small, but I mean like incredibly small for a GPS drone that has a 4K camera. That could interest me if that thing was, I don't even something to, I got the prop cars over here, so it looks big, but something, what if it was like this small in a folder, and still could do all the stuff a DJI drone could do? That may interest me.
Yeah, oh, go ahead, Jay.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that one of the things I discovered with the Spark, I came late to the Spark party. Ron found it on sale for $235, so I went out and bought it. And because I already had a Mavic, and I thought, well, God, why do I want a Spark? Well, I found out once I had it. That thing is so convenient, so easy to fly, and so easy to take with you when you're traveling. It doesn't take up any space, and you can throw it up in the air in about 2 minutes. And when you land it in your hand, you can put it away in about 2 minutes. It's just very convenient. And that's the goodness of the Spark. And I suspect this Mavic Mini may even be all that and more.
Yeah, I would assume, like, even that drone that you had in your hand, Ron, the Snaptain drone, I'm going to bank that this drone's going to be about the same size as that as far as diameter up and down goes, and it's probably going to be shorter in width. Now, obviously, thickness of the body is probably going to be considerably thicker because they're going to throw a smart battery in there. It's going to have a gimbal on it, but it's probably going to be comparable to that drone you just had in your hand, and that's where the onset, like Marcus said, where, well, I have a Mavic, what do I need a Spark for? And you get a Spark and you have a Spark, and it's in this, you're carrying it around in the size of a shaving bag. Your razor and your I'm not that I use a razor or anything, but your razor and your shaving cream bag is bigger than what your Spark bag is. That's a huge draw for me. Like when I was traveling, Ron had brought up that I was traveling. I took my Spark, I took the Tello, and then I had one other bag that had my jumper and 3 FPV quads in it. I like to try to consume as minimal space as possible. And if you see me 3 years ago, that space didn't matter. I was taking everything. I was taking a Phantom 3 standard hard shell backpack. I was bringing what looked like Toys R Us balancing stuff to go to the hotel. People were just staring at me. And anymore, it's not about quantity. It's about quality that I'm taking, but it's also about portability. I like stuff that's extremely portable, and to be able to take something with a camera like the Sparks. And again, this Mavic we're talking about, it should be considerably better than the Spark. And if they pack it in that small package, it's going to be something to get. It absolutely is.
Right. And one of the Sparks appeal was that I had the Phantom. I had the Phantom 4. And then, the next summer, I bought Spark when it came out. And the Phantom 4, you take it someplace in public, and people look around, and everybody knows what you're doing. And you got that look of, oh, man, there's a drone, there's trouble, right? But you go the same places, you pull that little Spark out, and hardly anybody looks, or if they do look over, they got that look. Oh, look at that little cute little toy that guy has. That little, look at that cute little drone he has. And nobody's offended by it all because they think it's a toy. They don't think you can, get any decent video. And nobody's offended by when you pull the Spark out. But the Phantom, they may be calling the cops on you.
Right. Yeah, that's I mean, and that's another reason why I take the Tello with me. The Tello in light conditions, it'll hold like GPS, and the camera on it's decent enough that you can get stuff off of it. Where I've flown boardwalk arcades. I've walked right through an arcade with the drone right in front of my face, and nobody bats an eye at it. And same thing with the Spark. I can fly that near people, not so much in a highly congested area like that, but I can fly it near people, and people are going to look, oh, that's cool. Look, he got a drone. Versus throwing a Phantom up, and it's like, looking at it like it's an alien, like, uh-oh, is he going to eat me with that? And that's it's a huge different side of the teeter-totter there, because I mean the noise, just the propeller noise off of the Phantom versus the Spark, it's an aggressive noise, and people that aren't used to drones and used to that technology, they're thrown off by it, and then they're afraid of it. And like you said, oh, there's this guy, he has a drone, he must be a peeping Tom. Or there's this guy, he has a drone, he's hovering over my wife taking pictures. Like, and it's just more of an aggressive type drone, where compact is better nowadays as far as flying around public.
Right. Agreed. Totally agreed. And this, this Mavic Mini, if it's as small as we speculate it may be the perfect drone to quote fly in public a little bit more than the bigger, more threatening drones. I have a kind of a show note here. I don't know if Brian Singleton's still in here, True Drone Reviews, but I was talking to him today. He received a set of master air screws for his Spark, and he flew them over the weekend, and they performed fine, but he got a weird error message on the Spark, and he asked me if I was getting that message, so I charged up the battery and did a test flight. I don't have these master air screws, and mine was fine, no issues at all. So he's determined that it was the master air screws that caused some kind of we'll say, overload type of warning. So just be wary if you're going to put those third-party master air screws on your Spark.
Ron, and he also followed up today, and he put the regular DJI props back on, and he said it was fine, no more of those errors.
Good. So that's kind of a show note for anybody out there who's thinking about getting the master air screws. I've never used a set of master air screws, so I don't have any experience with them. Have you ever used them, Jay?
No, I haven't. And generally with DJI stuff, I won't even experiment with different propellers, because again, DJI has their stamp on their stuff works. So I don't experiment with propellers on their stuff at all. I don't find a reason to fix what's not broken per se.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. Totally agree. So Ron, I don't know if you're ready to move on, but I heard you had a pretty good flight today.
I did. I took the Anafi down. I mean, the Anafi. Everybody's talking about the Anafi. A great drone, by the way. I took the little Zino down to the beach day. We had a nice happy Columbus Day, everybody. If we're still allowed to celebrate Columbus Day, I took the little Zino down the beach. Perfect day. It was like in the low 70s, low wind, and I had a real nice flight in the beach. Of course, there's nobody around the beach except a few dog walkers nowadays, so you don't have to worry about flying over anybody. And I haven't done a recent firmware update yet. I want to, just to test it out, but I didn't get around to it. But I had no connection issues. I had no issues whatsoever. It flew great. I have the settings dialed in, the yaw and all that dialed in just the way I like it now to get some smooth video. And I hope to put some of my test results up. But more on a note, Marcus, can you talk about your Zino spreadsheet, the availability of the Pro?
Well, you don't really need a spreadsheet for the Zino. You go. I went on their the Hubsan website today, and it still says sold out. But in that for the Zino Pro, but I ordered off of the Hubsan US site for the Pro, and they originally had on there that it would ship today, the 14th of October. Well, now it says the 17th of October. So it's going to be that game, I think, where that date keeps moving up. Now, I know a lot of people that have ordered from Banggood, they already say they have shipped. But, you know, who really knows? Until you have it in hand, you never really know.
And there was addition to the Zino Pro, we'll say pages. We're talking about the official Hubsan page. I guess it's just Hubsan.com. I don't know. It's their official page and not one of the resellers. There's a reseller Marcus bought from it. It looks like you're buying from Hubsan, but it's not. But anyhow, on the official Hubsan page, they have the fillers, the ND fillers available for the Pro now. But of course, they're also sold out. But that just popped up. I just saw that for the first time a few days ago because, as we know, the Zino, we'll call it the Zino Classic at this point, doesn't have ND filters for it, but the Zino Pro will now. Whether these ND filters will fit the Pro filters will fit the older ones, we don't know. We'll have to test that out when when all this stuff becomes available. So, Eddie, but the first person in our world, in our universe of drones here that receives a Zino Pro, please contact us and let us know. You can say first, and I'd say you win a ZinoNation T-shirt, but we don't have a T-shirt. But if we ever get a T-shirt, we'll be sure to send you the inaugural ZinoNation T-shirt. So, but Marcus, I heard you had a good flight today too. You took one of the favorite drones of the channel out for a little test fly.
Hey, I did. I just had a great time today. So over here we had blue skies and it was about 60 degrees. So temperature was just right. So I went just about 25 miles south of where I live on the Snake River Canyon. And I got I took the FIMI X8 SE, had a couple of batteries. And my intention was, if you look in the menu, if you look in the camera menu on the FIMI X8, it has a line there for taking panoramas, but it's grayed out. And what it says is that you have to have the drone in the air before you can do the panoramas. And so my intention was, I thought, man, I'm going to show Ron Brown. I'm going to really get some cool panoramas, but it doesn't work. So I don't know if it's just something that they haven't activated. But even when you have the drone up in the air, it's grayed out. But I did take some pictures, and Ron, if you'd like, I might be able to throw some up on the screen here.
Well, definitely. Let's show your stuff here.
Yeah, let me. I am going to ask you for sharing the screen application window. And as usual, it looks like I'm just going to have to do my entire screen and then bring the photograph up. Tell me when you've got it, Ron.
We got something here.
Okay, there we go. So there is that is the Snake River, and I was facing direct.
Marcus, you got like a whole bunch of screens inside a screen, and whether that's my fault, I don't know. Can you? It's like it's screen inside a screen inside a screen.
Oh, really? So it's not showing that. Yeah, I brought the picture up on my screen, but it's not showing it. I see what you're seeing there, and that's not right.
You just have a cascading screen just going on, never ending.
Yeah. So let's stop sharing. Let me try it one more time.
Better with the drones in here now. Hey, Better with the drone. We were talking about you earlier. We were talking about your battery failure on your unfortunate battery failure on your Zino. But hold on, I think I see something here, Marcus. There we go. There's a beautiful Snake River, and I think I see Evil Knievel there.
Well, that would be about 110 miles further east than where we're at right here.
It could have been one of his better jumps.
Yeah, it would have to be. Well, he had a rocket bike, so maybe it could go 110 miles. I don't know. But yeah, this is right below the Swan Falls Dam. And then I got a picture of the rim here. And if you look right in the middle of this picture, you'll see me standing there. I was, right close to the rim there. And then let me hang on here, find another one. So I want you to see pointed the other direction.
It's a great photo, Marcus.
No, it's the same picture. Hang
it's
on
really
here.
nice photo.
I've got some facing the other direction away from the
Yeah, that Snake River Canyon is almost as big as the Abyss.
Yeah. So anyway, so this is facing.
That's a monster abyss.
Yeah. So this is with the sun behind the drone, facing north. So I just wanted to show a little different perspective here, and it's kind of interesting. You can see the colors start to change on the side. And in the video, there was one point that there was a boat, a jet boat, coming back up the river here. So I got a little bit of video with that. But anyway, it was just a flippin' beautiful day to be out flying a drone today.
Awesome shots there. It sure was, Marcus.
Yeah.
Marcus, I know we're maybe get off the rails here, but if you want a little drone photography tip here, you have that exposed just the way I would expose it, but in your photo editor, just turn the exposure down a little bit and turn the contrast up just a little bit, and you'll really make that photo pop.
It'll really pop, huh?
So just a exposure down just a little bit and the contrast up maybe just a little bit more than you turn the exposure down. I bet you that thing will really pop for you.
Yeah.
Try it sometime.
I will.
That's drone photo editing tips 101 here.
So I stopped the share there, Ron. So you should have it back here.
Okay. So thanks for sharing that. There were some great photos. We were always wondering because we think that Zino, for instance, doesn't really take a real picture. It just does a screen grab. I mean, we've never confirmed that one way or the other, but we think it's a screen grab more than a real picture. But I believe the FIMI X8 is taking a real photo and not just grabbing a screenshot.
It is. And I have to tell you, and I don't know if you have one of those, Jay, but that's a drone. So you can buy it it's on sale all the time. I've seen it as cheap as $409. And it is a fast, powerful drone. I've flown it in sport mode up to like 42 miles an hour. And it's got a long battery time, 25 minutes or so. It's got a lot of features on there. It's not, there again, I always tell people it's not a Mavic, but for the dollars, man, that thing is an amazing piece of equipment.
I want to back up a little bit on my Zino thing. Marcus talks about not getting much battery life. I timed my flight today, Marcus. I got just seconds under 15 minutes. I got 14:50 or something like that. So if I was just like seconds shy of getting a 15-minute flight, and I landed on 25% battery.
So that's about what I get with my good. I've got as better with the drone is pointing out here. I've got my original battery, and I'm only getting 9 or 10 minutes with it. But I have a newer battery that just exactly what you're saying, Ron. Just about 15 minutes. What are you getting with yours, Jay?
Mine's right around 15 minutes. I think I probably got a little bit over that when I had the disconnect, which was really, really pushing the battery. But I think consistently I'm hitting 14, 15 minutes. Not if I'm going over 15 minutes, it's not much over. But I'm also really chill flying it. I'm really not aggressively flying the drone at all. And I'm also not taking it out in adverse conditions. Anytime I've had that drone out, the weather's been almost prime, where there's next to no wind. It's not too hot yet. It's not too cold. A lot besides the spark I kind of beat on, because if I'm taking it with me, I'm taking it to video stuff. And like this last time, the weather was horrible, but I needed to get my shot. I had an image, I had a photo in mind that I wanted to get, and I wasn't leaving there without it. And I have 2 sparks, so there's room for screw up there. If I lose it, I still can come home and still have a spark. But as far as the Zino goes, I'm not really willing to chance it too much. just as well as some of my Wingsland Minivet. That's a large, heavy drone. It works excellent, but weather needs to be prime time for that. So yeah, that's in prime conditions. That's around what I'm getting almost consistently.
And,
Hey,
I swear, when I first got the Zino, when my batteries were brand new, I swear I used to get like an 18-minute flight, but maybe I'm just imagining things.
you know, Ron, I'm telling you, that was about firmware 0.50 or so that I noticed, and it could be just what you say, that the drone is getting older and the battery was getting older. But I noticed on that firmware that flight time went down, and it wasn't just me, because I saw a lot of other people commenting on the same thing. I don't really know. Al Duran is saying that after about 6 months, you better look at replacing your Zino battery.
Probably wise. Yeah, probably wise. In case, so I see Better with the Drone Shop, and he kind of told a little bit of his story about his battery failure and his crash. So, you know, it was unfortunate, but it's a good warning for the rest of us to watch our older batteries and make sure we charge them, you know, the day we fly them and everything. So,
hey, there's some big news in the chat here, Ron. Do you see it?
No, you go ahead and shout it out.
Al Duran, his FEMI X8. So I don't know if everybody's seen the trials and tribulations. His dropped out of the sky, and I mean, when you say drop, it freaking dropped, and it hit some railroad tracks, and he found it in the water, and he's got a series of videos of him taking it apart. He's saying that he just got it back together tonight. He ordered some new arms, and I believe those come with motors. So it looks like he's going to get to test it tomorrow. Man, Al, I'm proud of you, brother. That's awesome.
That's great. I can't wait to see Al, when you get that thing. Well, whether you get it in the air or not, you got to come back on and talk us through this whole process of you know, what you've gone through to try to get your beloved FEMI X8 back in the air again.
No, I mean, that thing was way up there. I don't know how high it was, Al, but that sucker was way up there. And you could see it. He had his hat cam. I think it was his hat cam, and you could see it just drop, and we still don't know why. But anyway, it's a great story that he's actually going to get that same drone up in the air now.
Right. Before we get out of here, Marcus, I do want to mention that we're going to be at SpinUp. That's the drone convention being held this weekend in Austin, Texas on Saturday. What's the date? What's Saturday's date? I never know the date on these.
The 19th.
The 19th. Thank you, Marcus. Marcus is what would I do without Marcus? But we're going to be there. You know, we're going to take it all in. We're probably going to do some live stuff. We're going to record some video stuff too. We'll bring back to show you later, but we'll try to cover it as well as we can. They're going to be giving away a Mavic 2 there, and what's the little robo thing that DJI has now?
Oh, that little car, whatever. Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of speakers there, so it'll be a lot to cover, and we'll try to maybe get some interviews with some of the drone luminaries there. Now, we probably won't be doing a live show next Monday night because that Marcus will be traveling home, and I'll be on the road to San Antonio to discover the Alamo. So, but maybe we'll throw like some recorded video of SpinUp in this feed if anybody's interested. But Marcus has a new little gadget there that Marcus, I go do a comparison.
Oh, I was actually looking at the little gadgets you had behind you, Ron, and that's why I picked it up, because we're going to bring these with us to SpinUp, and it'll be the battle of the gimbals.
Now, what do you have there? Tell the good folk what gimbal that is.
That's an Osmo Mobile 3, and Ron has got a couple of Zhiyun.
Right.
Q2 is the big one, right, Ron?
And before we jump too far ahead, now the big advantage of this Osmo 3 Mobile is that it folds and it's compact.
Right. You can fold it in. And then, of course, this just spins off the bottom. And, you know, it's a tiny little thing.
Yeah.
And you unfold it. And you know, what better camera do you have than what's the one on your our fancy cell phones that we run around with now?
Now, I had the Zion Smooth 4 gimbal, which this is, you know, quite a setup here, right? It's a great gimbal. It has a lot of features, but doesn't look very portable, does it? But recently they released a new one as Marcus said, the Q2. Look at the size comparison.
Wow.
Too. And now you would say, okay, well, it's small. It's not going to be as good as this big guy, right? Well, I think the motors are stronger in this one. People have commented on my test videos that they don't see the walking up and down. And I put the phone in here. You can put more stuff on it that said the motors are actually stronger in this little one than they are the bigger one. Now the bigger one still has a lot more customable buttons. You don't have to touch your phone at all. You can do everything through all these buttons on the front, where this one, it has a few buttons, but you have to do a lot of features, inside your phone. But that being said, I think this one works just as good at smoothing out. And this also has a removable piece here, which I probably won't be able to get it off on there now. But you could take that off. So you can take your phone and put it back on again without remounting it and rebalancing every time. Because if you're careful, you don't have to rebalance your phone every time you take it on and off. So we're going to be going head to head at SpinUp. It's going to be Zion Q2 versus the Osmo Mobile 3. And we'll trade at some point, because Marcus has the iPhone Pro Max, which is a little bit heavier than mine. We're going to see if this can handle the heavier phone. I have a smaller version of that. So it's going to be real interesting. And I put a couple unboxing. I've had a couple videos where I show you the quality of it with my iPhone on it, how stable it is. And I'm quite impressed with it. Said I could go on forever, but just check my videos out.
Yeah.
And also my stream right after the show, I will be going live with my Snaptain SP660 video. It's going to be epic video. Again, it's funny. I did the video before I saw Jay's, but I'm going to say we about 90% agree on what we're saying in the videos. And again, I had already filmed it before I watched his video. So, that's saying something to two people that didn't see each other's video have a lot of the same conclusions. Go ahead, Jay.
Either one of you have seen the other review on that by another YouTuber that absolutely slammed it?
I know the one you're talking about, and well, we won't mention names of the controversy. I have seen his headline. I have. Did you watch the video?
Yeah. I skimmed through the video. I couldn't stomach to watch the entire video, but I skimmed through the video, and I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't have to say anything controversial. Get yourself in trouble.
Right, and I mean it's just what you're saying, that basically you did your video right after or before mine, and you're going to post it, and our videos almost line up. And then I have people that I've talked to on Facebook who also have it, who have been holding off on their video just because of the SD card reading thing. But what they've said has almost matched up. And then you have this guy's video where looked like today was his first day flying a drone.
I think I know you're talking about.
He just slammed the heck out of this drone. And again, I pointed out every fault it had. I mean, I was nitpicking about it, but I also flew it and shown it could be flown for darn near 24 minutes. And then you got somebody, and I don't know. I just, with you comparing your video to mine and then a stark contrast on the other side, I just felt I needed to bring it up, obviously without pointing at anybody or anything.
Right.
It's just
and we're the one channel here. We're not here to slam anybody else's channel. People can post to do anything they want or whatever. I'm not here to
absolutely
judge or second guess anybody else's channel. And that's my whole issue. If you don't like what somebody else is doing, you don't have to go on some kind of big tirade or whatever. Just don't watch it.
Just don't watch it. It's that simple.
Right.
If you don't like somebody's content, don't make a big deal of it. Just like on TV. If you don't like a TV show, you don't call the network up and ream somebody out the network. You just don't watch the show anymore, right?
Yeah. That's my slight thing about that, though. It seems like a common thing with that channel, where they're just taking toy grade stuff and either not flying it properly because they don't know how, or they're just bashing it to bash it. And what's sad about that is, because we talked about price point, I think it's a little bit overpriced for what it is. But as far as a beginner goes, if that's the first video somebody watches of it, they're not going to buy it. And it's not like we're trying to sell it or anything, but it's just, you watch that and wow, this drone is complete garbage.
Right.
Let's keep scrolling. I don't think that's a fair outtake for a lot of the stuff that they're seeing there.
Right.
And I mean, clearly with views and whatnot, that's not the go-to channel or anything, but people are, I'm sure, going to see that as the one video and this, yep, nope, not dealing with that at all.
True.
And like you said, we all have different channels. We can all portray things the way we'd like to. As far as a drone hobby, though, I don't see that helping at all.
Yeah, I get you. And one note on the price. Talk about the Snaptain being overpriced, and kind of what's going on here. If this drone was a China drone and sold like on Banggood, it probably would be between $40 and $50. But you pay more on Amazon for the same drones that you would get, the same type of drones you would get on Banggood or GearBest. Would you agree? It's definitely like the same type of drones are, say, $20, $25, $30 higher on Amazon because you get the 2-day shipping. And Snaptain, if you got a bad drone, if you got this and it wouldn't fly or whatever, it came broken, you would just automatically just contact them and you'd get another drone. Where if you got it from Banggood and something's wrong with it, good luck.
Yeah. So that's one thing.
Yeah. So the more money you're paying for those benefits.
Right. As far as the price point goes, and I mean, again, like I said, 2 years ago, I'd be all over it. Right now, myself, I'd like to see it at $40. But I do explain that in a lot of my videos. I don't think I did it with this one. A lot of Holy Stone stuff, and I forget what other company that's Potensic. Holy Stone and Potensic, they're high-priced drones. They're clones of things that you can get from Banggood, but that's what you're getting. You're getting quick shipping. You're not waiting 3 weeks. You're also getting the reassurance. If you break it, you can contact the company or you can contact Amazon and not have to deal with the back and forth. And here, have some Banggood points, and hopefully you're happy with that. And so, I mean, there's where a big price flex is. And some people don't understand that, but that's great that you brought that up because I wouldn't even thought to kind of reiterate on that, but that's exactly what it is. So I mean, in my mind, it's a little high priced, but if you weigh things out, it's been shipped from China, it's been rebranded in the United States, it's been shipped to Amazon, and then Amazon then has to reship it to us. So it's fair it's fair mid-range retail, I would say.
Yeah. So oh, well, I think it's been a great show tonight, gentlemen. If you have anything else you want to bring up, Jay, go ahead and, we'll bring up, talk about it, and then we'll, try to get out of here, get everybody to bed or watching that Monday Night Football game. We have the Lions up 19-13 in the third quarter in the Packers for all our football fans. But, Jay, do you have anything you want to close out with?
Not really. I just appreciate you guys inviting me to your live feed. I'm always happy to do it. I still need to work on my setup here because it's I'm using an older iPhone SE. I have an iPhone 6 that I was going to use, and somehow my my software on there is older than what's on my SE, so obviously I need to update it. But yeah, hey, I appreciate you guys having me on. I told my wife 2 hours ago when I got messaged, I'm probably gonna go live, and she basically stops what she's doing because she's in the same room with me in here. She turns the TV off and whatnot. That way I can have full attention. She's like, "Well, when are you going live?" It's like, "Well, I'm not really going live." She's like, "Well, what do you mean?" It's like, I was invited to go live with 2 other guys. Oh, okay. So I was excited about going live with you guys. So I definitely appreciate you guys having me with you.
Let me tell you, Jay, the pleasure is all ours. I mean, the knowledge that you bring to a show like this just totally rocks. So no, we should be thanking you.
Yeah, I mean, you've flown a lot more drones that have a lot bigger channel than us. So it's like Marcus said, it's our honor. And I know, Ken, I know you had that Snaptain. You made that great that great video. So you were the perfect person to come on, because that's all anybody was talking about the last couple of days on social media was the Snaptain or whatever, because people have it. People all have the memory card issue. So I thought we kind of could just get it out there. And, I think we did a fair and balanced thing. We said it has that's a minor issue, whatever. But overall, it's not a bad drone. You don't have to slam it because it has, an issue. Again, I guess camera could be a big issue to some people, but hopefully we'll get it sorted out for them.
Right. I had a bunch of comments on my video, and only one comment where somebody said, it's definitely a no for me. It's a no because of those things. And it's everybody's prerogative. But as far as me, and I mean, I could put myself in other people's shoes, because I've only been in this hobby about 3, maybe going on 4 years now. So I can remember when I first started really vividly. And as a beginner for 24 minutes, you're overjoyous. Like that's one of the first things I did when I got into this hobby. My wife bought me a Sky Viper 950 HD. It was winter. I didn't want to bash the first drone I had, so I got that Striker. And one of the first things I did was spend like $40 on batteries for it. And they were 3.7 volt, 500 milliamp an hour batteries. But I just wanted to fly. Like I wasn't happy enough. What do you got there?
My wife just
like strawberries. You got strawberries?
Well, my lovely bride is just taking care of me.
That looks refreshing.
Yeah.
Mark almost gets he gets a snack at almost every show.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
Yeah.
I apologize.
No, you're fine. You distracted me with food I like to eat. But yeah,
I know where you're going. My first drone, I got about the same time you did, 3 years ago. We're riding the same schedule, and I got the SEMA X5 everybody has, and with one battery, and you probably got 7 minutes of flight time out of it.
Right. And I mean, even early on, I was doing battery mods where I was essentially doing what Snaptain did with this battery and smashing two batteries on top of one another to get higher milliamp an hour. And I accomplished from a X5 almost a half an hour flight. I think I took three 500 milliamp an hour batteries and smashed them together to make a 1500 milliamp an hour battery. And it's kind of cool that toy grade companies are getting the gist of this now when they should have got it way long ago. But because again, 20 for new flyer for 24 minutes of flight time is insane. And you get 2 batteries, you're not going to go out and spend $30 to $40 on batteries, because you got 2 good batteries and you're out in the field for just shy of an hour. And I said in my video too, that first speed rate is extremely docile. If you flew that entire battery on that first speed rate, you might get it half an hour. You really might hit it half an hour. But again, guys, I appreciate you having me on here. And as far as YouTubes and whatnot, numbers mean absolutely nothing here. I see eye to eye. We're on the same level here. I'm not trying to be taller or whatever. And I'm sure you guys have been in the hobby way longer than I have. Again, you said thank you to me, and I really appreciate being on here. I absolutely enjoy talking with you guys.
It was a pleasure. And I'm going to close out with just saying that if you're interested in Snaptain, go to my YouTube channel. In minutes after the show, I should have it up and ready to view. And if anybody's interested in getting tickets for SpinUp, they're still available. Contact either Steve Carpenter or Kelly Shores, and they'll get you the link. And I'm sure you can just Google search SpinUp and you'll find it. But anyhow, it should be a good time. I'm going to throw it over to Marcus to let him close his show out.
Yeah, so really my focus right now, Ron, is looking forward to SpinUp at the end of the week, flying out on Friday. It's kind of weird leaving from Boise, Idaho. We have to fly to Seattle, Washington, and then from Seattle, Washington down to Austin, Texas. So it'll be a day of flying, but that's cool. It's going to be fun. We're staying at the Spring Hill Suites You might see some pictures on Jay's hotel channel of that place. Yeah, so I'm hoping to maybe get one more flight in this week. I have not flown the Paradenofi in a while. Or on the other hand, I'm going to take the Mavic 2 with me to SpinUp. So maybe I should practice with that thing a little bit. I don't know. So we'll see. We got some pretty good weather going here. So probably give that a shot. And again, good show tonight. And over to you, Ron.
All right, folks. Remember, we most likely won't be live here next week. So if you want a live show, come back in about 2 weeks again. We may throw something up in this feed next week, maybe a recorded show or something like that from SpinUp. But keep watching this. Put your alerts, because we may go live at SpinUp or the hotel afterwards. We probably will go live at some point when we're at SpinUp, whether it's at the hotel. And the hotel's is right across the street. It's walking distance. We may grab some other drone luminaries and sit them down, interview them, have a discussion. So watch for some live shots over the weekend, but probably not next Monday. So thanks everybody in the chat. We had a great group in chat. We had an excellent discussion. There were great questions for Jay and Marcus and so on. I love you guys. You make this channel, and see you in the next one.